Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Charity Boat Race Show 2024. My name is Nanu and I will be discussing the Dragon Boat Race, all of the intricacies and how it's culturally important within the Bengali community and the community as a whole. So it's not just the Bengali community, it's the community as a whole. We will also be conducting the draws and we will be discussing the 4 separate categories that will be participating in the tournament itself. And hopefully I've got my guests here who can provide some in-depth knowledge and experience on how teams are preparing to compete in the tournament itself. So before all of this, let me introduce you to my guests. So on the right-hand side, I have Jakir Bhai, who is a Charity Boat Race Management Committee. And on the far right, I have Adil. Adil is a paddler, a member of AMA Dragons, who've competed in various different competitions, particularly Al Noor, I believe. On my left-hand side, I've got Sheikh Fahim Ullah, who is also a Charity Boat Race Management Committee member. And on the far left, I have Mohammed, who is also part of AMA Dragons. Welcome, everyone. So, Zakir Bhai, yet here we are again, after a year or so, after last year, how exciting it was last year. Give us a drawdown of what people are going to be expecting this year.
If last year is anything to go by, then this year is going to be quite remarkable. It's just a spectacular event, a big, massive family fun day sort of environment, festivities going on, traditional activities, lots of food. It's an all-round good day, good vibes, and everyone's getting along, smiling. There's no animosity there. It's just a great day, and I can't wait for Sunday to come along so that we can, get back on it. It's been a long year waiting for this event. Last year it was that good, and I just can't wait to get going on Sunday.
Okay, I'm going to bring in Adil to this conversation. Right? Adil, you guys have participated in Al Noor. Have you participated in this competition before?
No, this is the first time.
What are your expectations?
So if it's anything like the Al Noor tournament competition, then I think, it will be
Just
quite...
remind me which category you're participating in. Is it the community leaders or the masjid?
It's the community. Masjid.
The masjids, right, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're one of the stronger teams, right? Tell us how much preparation have you been doing? Have you been training a lot? I know other teams have been training 2-3 times a week and they've been doing it for a couple of months. But what about you guys? I mean, for you to be able to compete in Al Noor, you must have done a lot of training, and then you've got this competition to participate in.
So we were training in a run-up to the Al Noor competition. But since then, we haven't had much training. In fact, so we're not really that prepared, to be honest.
Okay. If anything is to go by, deception. So some teams claim that they haven't done any training, but they have. But anyway, Fahim Bhai, I just want to ask one particular question, right? I know charity boat racing is very, very popular these days, and it's kind of deep-rooted in the Bengali community as a whole, right? Why has it gone so popular these days?
Well, to be honest, as you mentioned, that it is a cultural race. In Bengali we call it Khenna-wise or Nuka-wise and so forth. But it has become an international competition. And I think there's something with the water, like, with the nature, and it gives a good feeling, good vibe, And just like football, you need a big number of squad, With this, you need even more than football team, So I think it brings in kind of the audience, because the audience want to come and see and kind of watch, So Alhamdulillah, this is our 3rd year running, and what we have seen that, is bringing the families together, bringing the communities together. One brother was saying that, he brought his extended family from outside London as well. It was a place to meet up, And what we also want to do with this program, while sort of reviving or reconnecting with the culture and tradition, especially with our kids, our sort of youths and kids, we also want to provide a good environment for the Muslim families, because it's easy to say everything is haram, but it's difficult to provide the alternative. So we want to provide an alternative. I mean, this is just a normal program. There's nothing Islamic about it. But at the same time, there's nothing un-Islamic about it. It's a good environment. Anyone can come, those who are practicing, those who are not practicing, spend a nice day, so that we provide alternative instead of just saying that all the festivals are un-Islamic and haram. We need to provide alternatives so that people can come together and actually enjoy a day, and at the same time can raise some funds for their charities.
Absolutely. I think that is quite an important point that you raised. Thank you for inviting. So, Mohammed, I'm going to ask you a question, right? First of all, are you Bengali?
No.
You're not Bengali, right? Okay. Because Bengali people are actually associated with water, as you can imagine, right? So, which means quite naturally, boating and paddling and everything, comes in our blood, right? But you're Pakistani, right?
Gujarati.
You're Gujarati, Indian Gujarati, right? Which is quite deserty, right?
Right.
As I imagine, right? Okay. How did you get interested in dragon boat racing?
So there's been various events that we've seen in the community for a few years now. For example, the charity boat race, and we've also seen Al Noor's event that has been going on for about 4 or 5 years now. So to be honest, we actually used it as part of our masjid, as our volunteers, as a sort of team building exercise, something to aim towards, something to go for. And so we competed in the Al Noor event the first year. We didn't do that well that year. We came about 14th, 15th. The second year we came in the top 4.
Okay.
The third year, this year, because of the weather, they cancelled the semi-finals. So we missed out on the final by coming in 7th place. The top 6 went through to the final. So we missed out on it. And then we saw this one pop up, and obviously the date was this Sunday. And I just asked people like Kadil from the team that, are you guys available? And we want to enhance our skills mainly. And we find it as a team, as a squad of around 18 to 20, we find it actually quite an enjoyable exercise that all the brothers come together, we have a good laugh, We also fundraise for our cause as well.
Do you actually paddle yourself?
Yes,
You paddle yourself.
I'm a member
What
of the team
position
as
do you
well.
paddle in?
I'm towards the top half of the boat.
Top half. So
Yeah.
I would assume you're one of the pacers.
The pacers are the top 2 generally, but
Okay.
I'm just slightly behind them.
And how many years have you been doing this for?
So this is our 3rd year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
It's quite odd, really. Well, it isn't actually odd. I think in the last 3-4 years that dragon boat racing has really, really lifted off the ground, and a lot of people are interested. Some of the teams that I've never heard before are actually being formed and participating. Anyway, Zakir Bhai, so as a community leader, right, how are you looking to improve the dragon boat racing and get the community together?
We're always looking to improve. We want to add benefit to the community where it's needed. So this is our 3rd year, like Sheikh said, and we've always, every year on year, we take feedback from our participants, from our members. And we've gone from a handful of participants to this year over 650. So the community is growing, the participants are growing, and the activities are getting better. And last year we've had good feedback, and some of the ideas that members wanted, the participants wanted, we are implementing it as best we can. So we're always open to discussions. We always want to listen. We always want people to have a good time, and we want to try and make it as best that we can in a safe and family-friendly environment as we possibly can.
Okay, so currently there's in the region of 30, 35, maybe 40 or 30 teams that will be
Yeah.
participating this year. So where do you see this in the next 5 or 7 years, perhaps? Because I personally think it's going to grow and get bigger and bigger every year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are, I'd like to see that happen. I mean, we are planning for it. We have the capacity to accommodate that many teams if we needed to. But if that happens, that's amazing for us, because that means there's a lot of money that can be raised for charity, which is the objective of this organisation. Not just to get together, paddle, have a race, win or lose, go home. The objective is to raise money for charity, to get involved. And the more people that can do that, that's just testament to the organising committee and the members and the participants that come in to do this. And the only people that will benefit from it is the charities that we're raising money for.
Absolutely, but
So-
how many people do you have in your team, and how much time do you think that they have to spend organising an event like this? I imagine it's going to be quite high.
It is, like Sheikh can tell you better, but it's a lot of man hours, a lot of office hours. It is almost pretty much a full-time job coming towards the later stages of the event.
And I take it a legal flavour is also part of that as well, because you have to do all of this health and safety,
SAG
everything.
meetings and obviously insurance as
public
well.
liability insurance, yeah.
Risk assessments. We also have to vet our suppliers and our vendors as well to make sure that everything is legal, above board, and So sometimes you go deep into a discussion and then you find out something's not correct, so you have to start that discussion again with somebody else.
Okay.
But these are the things that we have to do to ensure that we've got a great event for everybody.
Now, I have to ask you this question. Do you
Yeah.
actually participate as well?
Me, I don't, unfortunately.
You don't, right?
no.
Okay, so
No.
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we've got somebody here, a community leader that does everything for the community, but he doesn't participate himself, which just shows the dedication and the passion that you have for the community as a whole. Mohammed, I'm going to ask you a question, but you don't have to answer that one. Okay, what is your team formation, like the starts? Because I know a lot of teams have different ways of starting. Some do 10 ups up to 30, and then they go into the reach. Some do 5 ups up to 15, and then they go into the reach. What is your style of start?
This year, for the previous event that we participated, we actually went 10 up, 10 up,
Up to 30.
then long, from
Okay.
like about 27, 28, 29, then long. But I think our team consensus was maybe that wasn't suited for us, so we were actually thinking of holding back a little bit
Okay.
and either going 5 and up, 5 and up, 5 and up, or even
Yep.
10, 10, and then go along, because that's the formation we used previously. Last year was 10 and then 10, and we found our best times coming in that formation.
Okay.
So something that we were still discussing, to be honest.
And do you do buried starts or hang starts?
Buried starts.
You do buried starts, right?
Yeah.
Because some teams are practicing on the hang starts.
Again, we shifted to buried starts this year.
But this is quite recent, isn't it? I mean, I think the norm was that teams would do the 10 ups, and the 10 ups up to 30, then do the long all the way to the end, and maybe a power drive at the end where the teams empty the barrel right at the end. But this year, I've noticed that a lot of teams are actually doing 5 ups. Do you see, I mean, in your training, have you seen any difference in those two different styles?
To be honest with you, the 5 ups we haven't tried as much. We've actually gone 10, 10 or 10, 10, 10.
Okay.
The 5 ups we've not really experimented, but we were probably going to try it in one of the races this year, this weekend, just to see how it goes. But it is a thought process that we were seriously considering doing.
I mean, the team that I represent, Shedwood Dragons, they actually been practicing all of this stuff, and it's not easy to get it right.
Yes.
So yeah, it's fairly new, and I think it needs a hell of a lot more practice than the 10 ups. The 10 ups are like quite easy to get under control, but 5 ups, if you get it wrong,
Yeah.
and you know, in this game, right, if you make one mistake, even just the slightest minor mistake, you've lost that kind of that advantage. So,
Correct.
fine, babe. Do you participate in paddling?
It's a good question. No, actually, I did some training with our team from Gift Foundation,
Yeah.
but we are more busy with organizing. On the day, as you can imagine,
A bit like Zakir Bhai here.
Yes,
I
you
mean,
know.
do all of the organization,
All
all
the-
of the hard work,
yeah,
all of the
organizers,
legwork,
all of us, we can't take part because
dealing with all of the teams, getting
Yes,
them on
so
board,
much things to do.
even arranging the show itself.
Yes.
But you don't actually participate.
But what we enjoy actually is seeing brothers and sisters participating. So this is our sort of joy and happiness. And as Zakir Bhai mentioned, that it's a big event. It's a big event. It's not just boat racing. There are a lot of other activities takes place at the same time, because we want the success is not defined just by the teams. It's the whole environment and everyone coming together, enjoying the day. So we have to think about children, we have to think about youths, we have to think about sisters, we have to think about prayer facilities, we have to think about all those different things. And it becomes a crazy day on the day, you know, it's really challenging. So none of the organizers, we can take part. Although we send our team from Gift Foundation, but unfortunately, no, I couldn't.
You haven't. Adil, I'm going to come on to you now, right? So, are you a paddler yourself?
Yeah, I am.
Judging by the physique, you seem like one of the perhaps the Rockets back. I don't know. I could be wrong. Whereabouts do you sit on the boat?
Towards the back.
Towards the back.
Yeah.
So engine powerhouse. Right. Okay.
Not quite engine powerhouse, but just keeping it together, basically.
Keeping you honest.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Zakir, can you explain the different categories that will be participating? I know there's 4 separate categories. Four
yeah.
categories.
So
And-
we've
and
got 4
w-
categories, yeah. So
and exactly what they signify.
okay, so we've got 4 different categories. The first one is obviously the Upazila race, which goes back to the roots of Bangladesh. Upazila being sub-districts of Bangladesh, so teams representing the heritage.
I take it the Opozilla has some special rules. So
Yeah.
to participate for a particular Opozilla team, you need to belong to that Opozilla itself. So you must have
Right.
some kind of heritage links.
Absolutely. So
Okay, and
links
that's
us to-
strictly enforced.
the strictly
And if anyone
enforced,
breaks
yeah.
the rules, are they going to be disqualified or just?
Well, if anyone breaks the rules knowingly or unknowingly, they're
Mm.
within the rules that we can, it's in our discretion to disqualify
Okay.
not only that participant but also to punish the team itself as well.
So I take it there's
Um,
some checks on the spot
There's
checks,
always
maybe.
checks. Obviously, we put the onus on the team captains to do their own checks and own due diligence as well.
Which is fairly normal because
Which
you
is-
couldn't check
yeah.
every single.
That's
Yeah.
right. And then
I've
if there are any complaints, etc., that does come up, we do
Then you
check it, we
investigate.
verify with the teams. We're fortunate enough to be in a community where we sort of know each other. We know from other sports who's from where, and we've got very honest people who don't like to cheat, who don't like to have a bad reputation, for example. So they're proud people, and they wouldn't want to use somebody that's not eligible for their team.
Absolutely, yeah.
Participate in the team. So we're very fortunate that we have that kind of bond amongst all the teams in that category.
So that was the Opozilla category. And would you
That's
consider
Opozilla.
that to be the most intense category, the most?
In terms of rivalry and fierceness, possibly, but in terms of
Possibly.
the times of the race, maybe not.
Maybe not. I mean, we've got
yeah.
AMC.
Yeah.
So,
So
we've got these guys here, right?
We've got
So
these guys there, exactly. So,
mm,
but it is the most fiercely contested category.
with all the
on
banters,
with all the
banters
banter
and everything that goes
I mean,
with
look, our Opozilla didn't do so well last 3 years.
it. Yeah.
I got to spend the whole
Are you-
year
you're
listening
representing
we're from Osmaninagar.
Osmaninagar, right? Okay.
So yeah, so when we lose, we got a whole year of listening to it, like, hey, remember that. so it's not, the banter is quite real. So you want to do well. Everybody wants to do well because otherwise it's a whole year of ear bashing.
Faima, which Opozilla do you represent? I know you're not participating, but
We don't have any team.
no, you don't have a team, right? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the Opozilla category. Which
Yeah.
other categories do you
So
have?
then we have a masjid category.
Yeah.
So the teams of volunteers from masjid, they made a team to represent the masjid to raise as much money as they possibly can for that.
So that's
masjid.
more of a charity focus.
Charity focus,
Okay.
yeah. All the races are charity focus. We do have targets for every team to raise money for charity, as much as and it's for whichever charity they want.
Okay.
We don't get involved with who it is that they want to donate their money to. That's entirely up to them. So the masjid category is teams representing the actual masjids itself,
Mm.
and it's made up from their people, their users, and then we have the community leaders. So these are organisations that do community work or active within their communities, and that could be, some of them are actual dragon boat racing teams, some of them are like youth organisations, it could be local businesses that have charitable arms. So that's the race which usually has the quicker times.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they usually have the quicker times, and then obviously we've got, which we're quite particularly proud of, is the sisters category.
Okay.
So we do have an exclusive race just for sisters.
Do you, Adil? Do you have a sisters team in your setup?
No.
You don't. Not yet, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we do encourage our sisters to participate because look, we do sports all the time. There's not much around for them.
Tell me a bit more about the sisters, right? They seem to be training really hard. It seems to be making more emphasis
Yeah.
on training and everything else, right? And it's becoming really, really popular.
Yeah, look, it's becoming competitive, and our sisters always want to do well, and they always want to do well. They want to do better than the guys, if you like, and they're taking it seriously. And they probably raise more money than the guys when it comes to the charity as well. So that's something that we're falling behind with regards to the sisters. So guys, please, let's try and raise as much money as we can. Let's try and beat our sisters when it comes to that.
And not just donation. Actually, more donation comes from sisters in any program. More learning in terms of any courses, classes. There are more sisters participating, and with this sort of sports, there is a exercise element there. But also, they are decently covered. And because it's kind of distant, it's not like anything close. So it kind of also meets the criteria of sort of Islamic environment. So it's about sort of giving them the opportunity at the same time also maintaining the Islamic etiquette, and it's a good thing that they also feel part of it. They are also raising money. They are also sort of doing the exercise, in a good environment.
And I know a lot of sisters teams are training with Shedwood Dragons and Shedwood Basin.
They do more than the brothers.
They perhaps they do actually, and they seem slightly more determined, I think.
Yeah.
But although they seem very calm, but you can kind of sense the intensity, that they are there to compete. They're not just there to go and paddle for the sake of it. They want to win something and take a trophy back home again. Now, talking about the trophies, last year's winners, can you remember any of them on the 4 separate categories?
Well, no, you lot won, didn't you?
Okay, JP, but I'm not representing JP today.
JP
So
today,
that's
but yeah.
on the...
So won it. I think it was the ladies. Was it Was it MSN who won it on the community leaders? I believe. Is it Folkestone Masjid won the Masjid race, and the sisters it was MSN again, I believe.
Who?
Was it MSN for the sisters?
MSN won the sisters.
Muslim Sports.
I can't remember actually. There's 4 separate categories altogether, and
So-
I think when the awards were presented, there was a lot of people.
A lot of people,
You
yeah,
know,
a lot of.
I couldn't work out, who's won the other categories. Obviously, I was so proud,
Yeah.
representing JP that we won that category itself, and that's the only category that I was interested in. But there's a lot of people near the podium, lifting trophies, individual trophies, and everything. And the atmosphere was absolutely lightning. It was fantastic, And I'm sensing that we're going to get a similar repeat this year as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely, in Fairlop Waters. There might be a small announcement. I've just heard it from the microphone that the event itself might be postponed due to health and safety reasons. Fairlop Waters have actually given us a notice of temporary suspension of water sports at Fairlop Waters. They're saying that throughout the year, we run regular tests on samples of water from our lakes, and following scheduled testing of water samples from Fairlop Waters today, it became apparent that there may have been some blue or green algae in the water. Now, this news just came through while we were in the studio, and unfortunately, it does seem like it's not going to go ahead this Sunday, but nothing actually stops.
Nothing stopped.
Nothing stops. We are going to carry on. We might not do the draw tonight because if it gets delayed by a week, 1 or 2 new teams might join, which means that if we already do the draws, then we might not be able to absorb those new teams. But anyway, we'll see what happens. More news to follow. But I think it's time for a break. And in the next segment, we'll be touch basing on all of the 4 different separate categories. And we'll be trying to reveal how the teams have been training in Shedwood Basin and in the London Regatta Centre with different organisations. So don't go away, stay tuned, and we'll be back very shortly. Thank you. Welcome back to the show. I have some new guests that I would like to introduce. I've got Janal Bhai from Sonali Otit on my right hand side, and on my left hand side I've got Zia, my old friend, my classmate from representing Newark Youth London, and I've got Meghna from same organisation, Newark Youth London. Now, Janal Bhai, you're going to have to give us a drill down of what this Noka Bais is and how it came about, the charity boat race, in your own words, in your own opinion.
Well, it's a community event for the Bangladeshi community especially, but I've realized since inception, the first one was in Fairlap Waters a few years back, but in the middle we turned into near the city airport venue.
Yes.
So that was really good, to be honest. But I think lately, the last year especially, I saw not only Bangladeshis, also other nationalities, especially from the ethnic minorities, have liked the event. And for the Bangladeshi community especially, Noka Bais is connected to the blood, because Noka Bais is a sport in Bangladesh which is very, very famous, especially in Sylhet, I would say. And if you go into Sylhet, Sunamganj is more famous for Noka Bais because it's the land of water. Sunamganj is land of water. But in this country, everybody from every angle, every area of England, UK, I could say, people from Northampton, Leeds, Manchester, Oldham, North, Scotland, Wales, wherever you go. Even I saw last year, I know some people came from Europe for the Noka Bais.
Let's come on to you in a moment, okay? So, Zia, I'm going to come on to you, right? I want you to give us a quick introduction of who you are, which organization you're representing, and why are you interested in charity boat racing?
Thank you, Nanu. My name is Zia. I'm a trustee of Newark Youth London. We're a charity organisation based in London. We've been here for 40 years. This is our 40th year. We looked after youth and community in Tower Hamlets. Now, last couple of years, we have moved on from the borough. So we're looking after Newham, Redbridge, Haverings, so Dagenham. So we have an event like this is suits for us to looking after the young people. Yes, it's a boat race for adults only, but it's a family event as well. So we want you to come aboard and provide something for the youth as well, so they don't get bored, drag along with the parents. So we will be there with various activities.
Yeah, I mean, no one kind of mentioned, I know we all talk about participating, but no one talks about the kids, I mean, the kids generally tend to follow the parents, don't they? So if the parents are participating, the chances are the kids may also follow as well, which is always good. Meghna, I'm going to come on to you now. But perhaps a quick introduction. I know a lot of people know you out there, but for those who don't know you.
Many varied professional hats and roles. So yes, I'm also a trustee and vice chair for Newark Youth London. And as Zia said, we are celebrating our 40th year this year, running projects not only in Tower Hamlets but across London as well, and various other activities, services for youth and community. But I just want to pick up on what you said, Nanubhai, about young people and children. It is important that children have something to do, and whereas this is a family-friendly event, and it's nice for parents that they have something there for the children that the children can just go and enjoy and participate. And with regards to the games and activities, we'll be providing quite a lot of different multi-sports for young people.
Terrific. Now, I have so many questions for you guys that joined the studio. However, I would like to show a clip from last year. It's only a short clip that describes what's been going on last year and what the expectations are for this year.
بمدرساتهم دار السعد ألوانا هنا نرددها الآيات نحفظها قرآننا آلق والقلب مزدانا هنا المسرات لم تبرح ملامحنا هنا الرضا ما توارى عن حنايانا كتاب ربي تدارسناه في شغف حفظا وحبا وتفسيرا وإتقانا. على ربى الأنس شيدنا مدارسنا بالآي نروي فؤادا كان عطشانا. بمدرسات خولة صحبي بكم ساعدت من أجل آيات ربي كان لقيانا.
I want to thank everybody, the whole community. This can only happen if we're unified and if we come together. And we'd like to see this as a platform for the community to be able to raise funds for various charitable causes.
آيات ربي كان لقيانا. عن ضيق هذه الدنا نلقى به ساعة قرآننا وطن روح وريحانا. به لقينا عن الأحزان مرتحل في غربة العمر كان الحفظ أوطانا. إذا تكاثرت الآلام ضمادها وإن ذبلنا كتاب الله أروانا. فؤاد كان عطشانا. بمدرسات زينب قد أزهرت ونمت واستبشرت بكم والحب قد بان. على ربى الأنس شيدنا مدارسنا بالآي نروي فؤادا كان عطشانا. بمدرسات زينب قد أزهرت ونمت واستبشرت بكم والحب قد بان. واستبشرت بكم والحب قد بان. بها عرفنا الهدى في
So, as you can see from the video clips, how exciting all of the boat races were. A lot of people were enjoying themselves. A lot of people came with their families, friends, colleagues. I think they were all invited. And I think in general, everybody had a fantastic day, and that was quite evident. But anyway, in the last segment, I announced that news just came through that the charity boat race is going to be postponed, delayed, because the event organizers have tested the water and they deemed to be unsafe for any sporting activities. However, I do have some good news now, which have just come through. So we have a new date. So the new date is going to be 22nd of September. So that's almost a 5 weeks delay, 4 or 5 weeks delay. So I think it might be a blessing in disguise, because there might be a lot of teams that weren't able to participate on that particular day on the 18th could do so now. There could be new teams coming through, and then, I mean, middle of September isn't going to be exactly hot, so which is going to be a very, very welcoming for some of the teams.
It's a very good time, because don't forget, this time of the year is really busy with summer holidays. A lot of other organizations participating, like football tournaments, everything happening. Yeah. That's why we've got 9 teams. But doing it in September, we might get more than that now, 15, 20 teams. Yeah. And sometimes for us, we can do more things. Get ready, gives us more time to get ready for it.
So while you're on the mic, Zia, are you participating yourself as a paddler?
No, I'll be looking at that. I'll be looking after the young people this year.
See, I've known you for so many years, right? Like since childhood.
Yep.
I've never known which Opozilla you represent.
Beni Bazaar.
So you Beni Bazaar. You know what? I have to note this down. So many years. We've been places. But
that's why we're still friends. If you know where I'm from, that changes,
I
isn't it?
suppose the whole concept of Opozilla is that you kind of get your identity, right? Because hadn't it been for the Opozilla category, I would never ask you that question.
Yeah.
See? But you do know where I'm from, right? Jogonathpur, right? So now I know where you're from, and you know where I am from, right? Okay. Megna, do you want to add anything on that?
Yes, I do. I've from seeing from the video and just. It's really, for me as a female, as a woman, seeing all the female participation with the boat races, I think it's fantastic having that category.
You're participating, right? You have to be.
Not this year, but I have participated in boat races in the past, and to say I've won as well, so with the team.
Now you have to share your experience, right? With your training regime, how you went about. How did it all start?
How did it all start? There was many years ago, I think this 7-8 years ago, and there was a boat race that took part in, and it took place where the regatta at the near the city airport, where previously charity boat race was taking part. And it all started from just before that. The women wanted to get a team together. I wasn't sure. But you know what? It was such a friendly, there was a social element, but there was that friendly competitive element. And having a women's boat race and competing against, there were a few other teams, was just a fantastic feeling. And that feeling of unity and sisterhood. And not only that, I think it gives women an opportunity to do something that is just female orientated, as well as you're competing in a safe environment as well. So, you know, I have to say my experience was fantastic, and winning was even more, it's savory, of course, as you can imagine, because winners from last year. So yes, I think I do encourage women women and girls to get involved, get teams together and participate, because seeing the wonderful experiences that the teams had last year, all the teams, not only in all the categories, it was such a fantastic vibe, because I've been attending the charity boat race for the last couple of years specifically, and I can truly say it is such a wonderful, fantastic just event, all-day event. So,
Thank you, Meghna, for the insight. So just to re-announce again, the charity boat race event on the 18th of August has been cancelled due to unsafe waters. It's been rescheduled to 22nd of September. That's 22nd of September. Nothing else changes in terms of formalities. Exactly right. So what I'm going to do is I've noted this down. So there's some formalities that I think the participants would want to hear about. So there's going to be 4 separate categories, which are the Upazila, the Sisters, the Masjid, and finally the community leaders. Each category will race 3 heats, and the top 3 teams with the best times will qualify for the finals. So it's not about winning, it's about the best time. So you might be the last team in a particular race, but in the second race you might get a better time. So that would make sure that you qualify for the finals. So every team will get the opportunity to race against every team within their own category. Okay, so that means if you're in a masjid category, you will face every single team in that category. Each paddler may participate for a single boat within each category. Yeah. So if you are representing a team that's participating in the community leaders category, you can only paddle for that boat and no other boat in that same category. Now, the Upazila category, as mentioned earlier, has some special rules whereby every paddler has to originate from their respective Upazila. Okay? Failing to abide by these rules may result in disqualification from the tournament itself. Okay. Now, John, I'm going to come on to you. Have you ever participated?
No,
You haven't?
no, I have.
What about back in the days?
I have. I'm on the mic.
Question isn't
I'm on the mic all day.
That question isn't related to just UK. What about Bangladesh or any other countries?
What, in regards to?
In regards to participating in a boat race.
Me, myself?
Yeah.
Oh, Bangladesh I have.
Okay.
I have when I was in the teenagers, 13 and 14.
I imagine that wasn't too long ago, yeah?
Well, I hope so, it's not too long ago. But there are bigger boats about...
Tell me about these boats, because I've seen on YouTube videos, you know, as a participant, right, and being in the management team, you have to understand the different styles of paddling and whatever. So, where does charity boat race originate from, you know? We know it's China and Bangladesh, you know, places like that, but obviously if it originates from that geographic location, the people out there must know some techniques that we don't know about. So when you do your study, you see that the boats are slightly different. They seem a lot narrower and a lot longer, and they tend
in
to
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh
is not narrow. The Chinese are narrow. Okay. Bangladesh is very wide.
Is it very wide?
It's about 50, 60 people on one boat.
Wow. Well, I've counted on one boat. I mean, I think there's about 60 paddlers on a single boat.
Yeah. It's big. I mean, Bangladesh is a different boat game, you know, because even the crowd are on the waters. There's no offshore to see the. When I'm talking about in Bangladesh, the boat race is like in a sea. It's not on a river.
Yeah.
Although it's a river, because of the season of monsoon, that's when the Noka Bais is in Bangladesh. So everybody, all the crowds come in boats. So they line up the boats on the side.
So they're like Waterworld.
Oh yes, Waterworld.
It's like Waterworld.
Basically,
Right,
Bangladesh
If
Noka
you've seen that
Bais
film, you know where
in recent days, in the last 10, 15 years, if you see Noka Bais in Bangladesh, you would see in a river where people are seeing it offshore. But original Nokaba Sunamgonj, it's in the water world.
Yeah, I
It
can
was
imagine.
beautiful. It was beautiful.
But did you get on a small boat or a big boat?
I wasn't allowed to go on that boat.
Okay.
Because I'm from London.
Can you tell us a bit about the distance?
Distance is also very long.
Is it 200?
It's about
400,
half a mile.
800? It's about half a mile.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Half a mile, around half a mile.
And in general, how many teams participate?
Oh, hundreds.
Hundreds. So
Hundreds,
we're
yeah.
talking in the
It's
hundreds, ladies and
hundreds.
gentlemen.
And,
So
and
here,
the speed,
yeah.
when they finish, to stop the boat, it's another half a mile. To braking distance, another half a mile to break the boat.
Wow. Now, I'm going to come on to Zakir Bhai, right? Now, knowing what I just know now, right, about the distance, about the number of teams and the size of the boat itself, do you ever imagine us here in the UK being able to host a tournament of such magnitude? What do you think?
Well, the dream's there, but reality, the practicality is going to be quite difficult. Storing the boats, getting the paddlers.
So the boats must be very long.
Huge. The boats that we
Huge.
have now, they're
Yeah, tell us a bit about the
20
boats that we
paddlers
have,
on-
the 20 paddlers.
20 paddlers on a drummer. Just quickly, just to touch about what Zebai was saying, it's not only adults only racing. Anyone aged 10 and above can go on the boat and participate for the team, should the team choose to do so. So that's, I just wanted to clarify. And also, we've got over 25 teams, not the 9 teams that Zebai was saying. So, and it's so evidence that it's growing. So, if the teams can generate a lot more paddlers and they can't accommodate them, we would try our best if the teams wanted to get bigger boats. We're happy to try and explore that avenue to see if that's something that we can do. We never say no until all the avenues are shut down and that is not possible anymore. So why not? We can give it a go. If the need is there,
I think that is probably the dream.
Yeah.
You know,
For
try
me,
and closely align to the tournaments that they hold back in Bangladesh and see if we can at least try and rectify it.
I think the health and safety
To
laws
some order of
here
magnitude.
would have
Perhaps not
something to
exactly.
say about that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but anyway, just to give you an announcement again, bad news is that the 18th of August charity boat race has been cancelled. It's been delayed to the 22nd of September. This is because they've tested the waters and they realized that following testing that the water isn't safe for any kind of water sporting activities. But anyway, as mentioned earlier, nothing actually changes. The date just changes, but nothing changes. The formality doesn't change, the categories don't change, and most likely none of the teams are going to change. They're all going to continue. We might even get some additional teams joining because later on in the year, I mean, summer is a very busy period. People are on holiday, so which might, it might be a blessing in disguise. But anyway, so I'm just going to read out some of the formalities again, just so that everybody gets it this time. So there's 4 separate categories, which are the upazilas, the sisters, the masjid, and finally the community leaders. So each category will race 3 separate heats, and the top 3 teams with the best times qualify for the final. Now every single team will get the opportunity to race against every team within their own category. So it doesn't matter which group you're in, there's going to be 3 separate heats and you're going to face every single team, which
Sorry
is
to
great.
interrupt you. Are we going to have another program before the
Absolutely, we're going to have
September?
another program, yeah.
I think these rules and regulations are better to give it to the audience near the time.
Nearer the time,
Now
but
they will
I think
forget.
it's still important that we do that because so that they can prepare for those stuff, especially around the Upazila rules, because I don't think a lot of, 1 or 2 Upazilas might not even understand that their team members or paddlers, they has to.
there might, out of all the Upazilas, I doubt how many Upazilas are watching you now.
Yeah.
I doubt it, okay? So it's best this rules and regulation goes to the management itself for them to understand.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. But anyway, on the day itself, and I've made a list of the notes that I took from the organizer in Zakir Bhai. You have to correct me if I'm wrong, okay? So as we mentioned, that nothing changed on the formalities. The competition is going to start, well, all the teams has to arrive around about 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no ifs, no buts. And because the safety briefing will be held straight after.
That's right.
Okay. Now, the safety briefing is mandatory for all paddlers.
Absolutely.
If you don't get the safety briefing, you will not be allowed on the boat. Okay. Now, every person that goes through a safety briefing is going to get a wristband that isn't transferable.
Correct.
Okay. If you try to take the wristband off, it's going to damage. And this is how they will know that if you've done the safety briefing or not. And you'll be stopped at the gates and you will not be able to participate. And this is for health and safety reasons, because they're going to go through a lot of important health and safety things that paddlers would want to know for their own health and safety. The other thing is a suggestion for myself is that always keep an eye out for race schedules, because the race schedules may change a little bit and the notice might come very quickly. So, and my other advice would be is don't let your team members wander off, because then if the announcement comes, trying to get 16 people in the formation right within 2 minutes isn't exactly feasible. Will there be any parking space?
Yep, there's plenty of parking spaces available at the venue.
Okay.
We have our own allocated designated parking just across from the field, where we are asking for people to make a donation of £5 for the entire day.
Okay, and that £5 is going to cover the entire day?
Yeah, covers the entire day, and it's not paying for parking, it's a donation.
It's a donation, right, okay. And there's going to be ample parking space
Ample
on that
parking,
field.
yeah.
And this is quite familiar as well, because we've parked there as well
Yeah.
previously. And there will also be some food stalls as well.
Yeah, so
And there's going to be other stalls selling various other stuff. So it's not just going to be food.
Yeah.
There's going to be other
there's
stuff
going to
as
be
well.
other stalls. Our marquee stall holder this year is a company called Desi Lounge. They're in Bethnal Green.
Okay.
They're fantastic new business, new community initiative. They will be there on the day, and so if you're there, please come down, sample their food. I hear it's very good. It's not something to miss out on. There's going to be chutneys, jams, sanasur, all the traditional stuff, all the modern stuff, all the fusion stuff. Everything you want, you'll find it there.
And if I was a potential stall holder, I wanted to sell items, what do I do? Who do I contact?
Yeah, so you can go on the website, charityboatrace.org, click on the stall section, fill up the form. It's a quick little form. And if you're not sure how to fill it up, there's a contact number on there and an email. Just get in touch and we'll get right back at you.
Okay, fantastic. So I hope that's been very clear. I don't think that stuff is going to change at all. As we mentioned, only the date changes, but none of the rules and regulation changes and the formalities. Now, Jonal Bhai, you are the actual official commentator. You've been doing it for perhaps a number of years, and I have to admit you are very good at it as well at the same time, right? Okay, and you watch every single race.
I do.
Every single race from start to finish, and I don't think there's anybody else has done that. And you've got the best view as well. Tell us a bit about the different categories and how the teams perform.
I mean, obviously the gents category or the Upajila category, I rather say, is the best of, most competitive and most interesting for the crowds, because everybody coming to watch the Upajilas. But what makes it different is the ladies' races and the charity races and the mosques involved, and that's something it's unseen of in other Bengali community activities, to be honest, ladies and mosques and things like that. So that's nice, but every race, I enjoy every race, you know. And to be honest, I enjoy the ladies' race more than anybody, because I'm bored with the Upajila project, you know, because Sonali we are doing the Upajila project every year, and so when I see something different, I get more excited. And the view, sorry to say that, the view in City Airport venue was excellent, because it's in one straight line.
One straight line, yes.
I'm not sure how it's going to work out in Fairlop Waters in 22nd of September, but the positive thing in September is that in Fairlop Waters, the venue is so big, it could turn into a Bengali Bashai Mela rather than a Noka Bais. It's already turning out to be a event festival.
Yeah, but hold on. We're not just talking about charity boat racing here, though, are we? There's other events here. Tell us a bit about those. Is there going to be
oh yes, we
rope
also have
pulling,
the Longi race,
Longi race,
and tug of war.
Have you participated in Longi races, Zia?
It will be this year.
Yeah, and also the carom board. Yeah, sure. And I'm also seeing the future. I've spoken to the coordinators of the Noka Vice, that they're adding more sports in the coming years.
Okay.
We should be, because the venue, that the Fairlop Water venue is excellent for multiple sports. We also have adjacent to Fairlop Waters a football arrangement area, which we can input in the coming years as well. But this event is called a Noka Bais, it's called a charity boat race. Actually, it's a Mela.
Okay, it's for everyone to come together at the end of the day.
And also bring the community together. I know you were talking about, it's the diversity, because it's representing our traditions and cultures coming from Bangladesh and the first, second, third, and bringing all these generations together, and also sharing our culture with other ethnicities, and and combining that, I think is and also showing our children that this is part of our culture and we can share that culture, and it's just such a wonderful, positive way to share the food, to share the boat races, to share and there's multiple stalls, as Zakir Bhai said. There's clothing stalls from last time. I hope there's going to be them this year as well, because they have some fantastic offers and deals. So perfumes, little art stuff. So there's an array of things, and it is. I would say, Janaba, you're right.
Yeah, it's
Mela.
Yes, Mela. Yeah.
And you tend to see a lot of people that you haven't seen for years.
Yes,
all of a sudden turn up.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
I've seen a lot of people turning up from outside of London.
Yes.
Last year's, I think they did a count, and on one side, I think they counted about 5,000 people turning up at the venue, but they didn't count the other side, the opposite side. So they thought that everyone's going to be turning up through one side and not the other side. But the true numbers, no one really knows the true numbers. But
That's last year, but
that was last year.
In Fela Portal, we're expecting 10, 15.
Yeah.
10, 15,000.
15,000
Now-
people, yeah.
Now, how do we describe the order of magnitude here, right? I mean, I'm a footballer and play football in Upazila. I think we get how many people?
In Upazila, we get 2,000 to 3,000.
2,000 to 3,000, right? And we're discussing here between 10 to 15,000 people.
Yeah, in Fela
That is a
Portal, yeah.
lot of people.
That's a big, big,
lot
big,
of people.
Big, big thing, yeah.
You know,
That's why we need more stalls.
which
We need more
need
stalls in
more
there,
stalls.
more, more facility for food and all that, and shopping.
Variety of
varieties of
which
stalls.
makes it, with that number of people, this event is probably one of the biggest in the Bengali calendar.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It has to
No
be.
doubt.
Has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Has to be. I mean, there's no doubt about this,
It's
right?
getting bigger every year.
Bigger
so
every
And
year,
bigger
exactly.
every year.
As Journal I said, it is getting bigger every year. And also, don't forget, there are also new people who are coming into the country and
Yeah.
also coming to the events as well. And this year, I'm sure the numbers will be even higher.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict what the figures would look like. Would probably be higher than if you're saying 10 to 15. But yeah, it's just a part of home, you know, just to feel that part of that energy in the whole event. So yeah.
Are you supporting any kind of sisters team this year?
I shall see. I'm supporting all the teams, of course.
All the
We
team,
have
yeah,
to,
of course,
you
yes,
know.
yeah. But any team in particular?
I'll have to think about that. Let me see.
Zia.
I have to support my Benny man. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't participate, it doesn't matter, but I still have to support Benny But one thing I wanted to add is just that this year we come aboard. Last 2 years we couldn't do it because of the location for the youth side of it. So for us, what we're doing...
Is this a last minute thing? Because I was told that Benebaza wasn't participating.
No, I'm not talking about Benny, I'm talking about New York, East London.
Okay, New York, East London. Apologies.
Yeah,
New
talking about New York,
London.
East London, while we're born. So this year we're giving more opportunity for parents to bring their kids, so they will have a place for the
So
young
that's
people.
adults, right? Adults.
Yeah.
That's not a youth team.
No.
whatsoever.
So just for young people to come in with the parents, they can leave the kids with us. Like we'll be there from 12 to 5 o'clock on the day.
Has your team done any kind of training?
For Noka guys.
Yeah.
Not for our team.
Right, okay. So because I haven't seen you guys paddle before, which is why I'm asking that question.
No, we
This
we
is
haven't. I
probably a
think-
learning curve.
Yes,
so
definitely.
Are you
I
also
mean,
from
what
Beni
are-
Bazaar?
No, I'm half part Biani Bazaar, part Osman Nagar.
I think
Okay.
my point for not training and making that announcement isn't actually to put you on the spot. It's just to emphasize that you don't need any training. You can come on the boat and start paddling, and you can participate. You don't need training regime and training for weeks and months on end. If you have enough paddlers that are interested, you can form a team and participate, and that's where your learning curve begins.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to begin months earlier.
No. Sorry. Last year I came to watch. I ended up paddling.
Or you
Yes.
need a paddling. Yeah.
The people were shown. The charity team was shown.
Well, that's another thing though, because on the day when teams turn up, right? I mean, because there's 3 separate heats, that's 3 races altogether before you go into the finals. You know, a lot of teams actually struggle to find enough paddlers. So where people have actually attended just to to participate in the Mela itself, not the boat racing
Yeah.
itself. Some of them were actually called to go on the boat. I know my brother was
Yeah.
called onto a boat.
Same
You
here.
know, and then some of my friends were also called into the boat. So, which just says, right, even if you're not doing anything that day, just turn up, and who knows, you know, you might be part of a winning team. And I remember on
all-day
JP,
event.
Yeah.
we had two Jagannathri paddlers who were paddling for Sharfara, who's also based in Jagannath. So
Jagannath,
Sharfara is a union in Jagannath, and on the final we were short of 2 players, right? So we said, well, why don't we get 2 players from Sharfara? You know, they were in the same category, you know, and we did, you know, and we kind of won. So see how that goes, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we told them you can't do for Sharfara anymore. You have to paddle for us now because you're JP, you know.
Yeah.
And they ended up taking a big fish home each,
Yeah.
you know. So see how things change so quickly. But anyway, you know, I mean, Zakir Bhai, is there going to be anything like giving away jackfruits and
that
fishes
remains
and stuff
that
like
remains
that?
to be seen. I mean, now that it's pushed back to September, we're not too sure on what stock's going to be available still in the market. So we'll see on the day, see what's available, and we'll try and sort something out for the winners,
So,
inshallah.
John Laba, I take it you're going to be commentating as well. this
Yeah, I
year.
hope so. I'm looking forward to it. But you know, there's positive and negative in every aspect. The date is changed now from 18th of August to 22nd of September. Yes, summer period is a very busy period for the Bangladeshi community, especially with weddings going on. More than holidays, we're busy with weddings. So the plus side is that moving to September, that side is safe now.
Yeah.
We'll have more people because there's not much wedding going on in September. But the only problem is that September, it's the weather is not like good as August. So inshallah, we hope.
We'll pray for an Indian summer.
Because even us, you know, we are reluctant to give the district cup on September because of the calendar. We cannot. So, but let's hope it's on quantity wise, it might be better. Let's hope we go for the best, inshallah.
But if I'm not mistaken, in September or middle of September, the weather's around about 20 degrees during the daytime, 22, like kind of room
It's a
temperature.
bit funny. So
I mean, I know. I mean,
It's a comfortable.
it's a comfortable
Yeah.
temperature, you know.
So
But-
That is fine. As kids
Yeah.
are back in school, football season starts. It's still
Yeah,
mild.
it's still mild. Yeah,
I think it will make for better racing. personally.
I think it would as well. I think it would.
I hope so. I hope it does. I really hope it does.
Because at the end of the day, we have to think about the whole Mela as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
It's not about just the boat race. If we're going to do all the other stuff, we want people to come and enjoy that side of it. So,
Yeah, but hang on a second. You know, I mean, I participated in the Al Noor competition, right? You know, beginning of the year, beginning of the summer,
Yeah.
and it was cold, and throughout the entire day, it was windy,
Yeah.
and it was pouring down as anything, you know, all day long. But it didn't deter people from participating. Everybody turned up, you know, with the umbrellas and, you know, the raincoats and stuff like that. People had tents, but
yes, yes.
the morale was still there. It was still high.
That's
Everybody
good.
is so
Well, that's a positive side.
yeah. So I think we should look at it in a positive manner. Anyway, for those
Inshallah.
Yeah.
for those who've just joined the show, so the 18th of August has now been cancelled due to waters being unsafe for sporting activities. The event has been postponed to 22nd of September now. So that's 22nd of September. It's going to be rescheduled. So Jack, or Zakir Bhai, that's going to give you some more time to, you know, perhaps organize things that perhaps you thought might not be able to do
Yeah, I
in
mean,
time for the 18th of August.
Yeah. And
So you've got
we're
a bit more
pretty-
time on your hands now.
We're pretty well prepared and stuff like that. There's just the one category where we didn't get many teams is the youth category. We wanted to do like a children's race. And so when I say children, I mean like teenagers, school age. So if there are teams out there of that age who want to participate, you know, do get in touch and we'll be happy to accommodate them as well. So that's something that we're looking to do. If Newark and other youth organisations are able to help us do that, then, you know,
Brilliant.
we're happy to accommodate that as well.
Meghna,
Yeah.
last thoughts.
Yes, let's just pick up everyone. Make sure you come on the new date, and if there are, as Zakbai said, participation. If you do have any youth teams, it would be fantastic to have youth participation. I think we'll give that some thought as well. Why not? And encouraging everyone to note the new date in the diary. And yes, I want to thank all the organising team as well for
Thank you,
inviting
Meghna.
us. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank my guests, Zakir Bhai, Jonal Bhai, Zia Bhai, and Meghna. I wanted to thank you, my audience. It's been a fantastic evening. I think there's a lot of information that has been shared. Unfortunately, the 18th of August has been cancelled. It's been rescheduled to 22nd of September. All I can say is I wish all the teams good luck. You've got more time to do the training if you haven't done so already. And the panel for sharing all of that information, especially about the Bangladeshi and the size of the boats, absolutely fantastic. It's a dream, hopefully. And so you've got more time to invite your friends, your guests, your families, invite your boss on the 22nd of September. I'm sure he will enjoy a fantastic and a fine day. And finally, good luck to all of the teams, and see you soon. Thank you.
পাশাপাশি বাড়িতে থাকে আলাল এবং দুলাল।
নিজের চোখে দেখে এগুলো কি আনছো?
এই যখন আলালের অবস্থা, আর ওইদিকে দুলাল পরিবারের সাথে সময় কাটাচ্ছে খুব ফুর্তিতে। বউয়ের কান্নায় যখন শুকিয়ে যাচ্ছে আলালের জীবন নদী, অন্যদিকে দুলাল যাচ্ছে ভ্যাকেশনে। কি হিংসে হয়? দুলালের মতো হতে চাও? ব্যবহার করো বাজার সদাই। বাজার সদাই, বাজার সহজ, জীবন সুখী।
স্পিরিচুয়াল জার্নি উইথ শেখ মাহমুদুল হাসান। অক্টোবর স্কুল হলিডেতে পবিত্র উমরা পালন করুন 26 অক্টোবর থেকে 4 নভেম্বর। 5 স্টার প্যাকেজ, ভিসা, ফ্লাইট, হোটেল, লাক্সারি ট্রান্সপোর্টেশন, তায়েফ এবং বদর সহ ঐতিহাসিক স্থান পরিদর্শন। শিশুদের জন্য স্পেশাল অ্যাক্টিভিটি এবং বয়স্কদের জন্য রয়েছে স্পেশাল কেয়ার। বুকিংয়ের জন্য ফোন করুন 077-4744-5993, 0740-225-4045।